What would it be like to finally experience wholeness and a resolution of trauma while receiving gifts of power and purpose? I'm Amandha Zhane, and I'm here with the creator of Aspect Work, my mom, Kim Smart, to show you how to quit self development and start living in your full power. If you followed my story, you know I've had one heck of a healing journey. I would say a warrior's journey, but that hasn't just been the last 5 years. I was born into a family of incredible healers, and I am so honored that my mom agreed to join me today for this podcast because she has been a really vital part of my own embracing of my femininity, my balancing of my masculinity, my activation of my sexual power, and she is just so much fun, and I wanted you to get to know her. I have a lot of questions for you, Mom.
Good. I'm excited.
I guess I should tell you her name. This is Kim Smart, and she's an integrative holistic coach. I call her a master teacher because I've had her at my retreats and people just gather and sit at her feet because she is full of a lot of lived wisdom. I don't know who you were before you got here in this life, but I'm happy you're my mom. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Amanda, for having me on your show. This is really exciting to get to share with you and
It's so
celebrate you.
Oh, I love it. Now, I wonder if people wonder how I got how I am. Just, I can do anything. It's this one. What were you telling us growing up?
I don't think I was really telling you much. We were just doing it. We were jumping in and figuring it out as we went. We had so many kids and just so many things to do, so we just did it.
5. There's 5 kids in our family. I'm second oldest, and we are all so different, but there's one thing that connects us. Probably a few more, but the number one thing I've noticed is we love each other, and not in a surface level way. Like we make sure that we have good relationships with one another. And where do you think that comes from?
I think that's just our underlying value that we have in our family is we have each other's backs. And I think from the very beginning, because I was a young mom, teenage mom, that there was this sense of we're in it together. And if you're struggling, we're there for you. If you're thriving, we're there for you. So I think that was, we're all in, was our underlying thing. So
That's so amazing. And I feel that. I know that we didn't always have a lot growing up, but I know that you worked your tail off with all 5 kids. You always had some project. You encouraged me to start my own business. I swear I was a preteen, helping with cheerleading and
yeah,
babysitting. So from an early age, you taught us how to take care of ourselves.
yeah, because you guys were very capable. I could never see your limitations, and they saw what was possible for you. So you brought up the cheerleading thing. We had over 250 cheerleaders, and you and your sister ran that company with a little bit of supervision, but you did uniforms, you did routines, you got everybody together, and what better training for life than to actually jump in and do it.
Oh, and thank you for that, because while I was working for the news, I started other projects, and thank goodness I did, because in 2020 I was let go. It was a big thing. I felt I was standing up for the people with what I posted online, but my work didn't feel that way, and so I was thrown into this whole other world of no, you don't have the white picket fence because you're actually in the middle of a divorce, and you no longer have your dream job of hosting a TV show. However, I had learn the skills to keep something else always going. So I went right into yoga and meditation, and then the shamanic thing that happened. We could talk about that another time. But something that I'm really grateful for is how all of that prepared me to be a single mom. Like, being a single mom is not for the faint of heart. And you ended up as a single mom as well. And you've been on that journey for, what, a decade or more?
Yeah, 20 years plus.
20 years. Do you feel like you ever feel like you have your stuff together as a single mom?
Not as a single mom, no.
Okay.
Because you're always changing. the rules are always changing when you're a single mom. You could have the best routine, you could have the best intentions, and your child gets sick, and you have to change everything. And back when I was a single mom, we didn't have the flexibility that we maybe have now, and it's harder to be what you need to be when you have a rigid structure you're in. So I had an employer that I worked for. I had to be there at 8 o'clock. I had a barn to run. I had kids to get to school. And
Wow.
it's changed now. So I'm grateful. And I want to touch a little bit on your journey of your being able to speak the truth. I think that's one of your biggest gifts is you can discern. And it was very brave for you to say what you said. And it did cost you your job, but it didn't cost you your integrity. And to me, that was way more important.
Oh, thank you so much.
And you've been proven right over and over again.
Oh,
That's the best part. Like, it'll come.
I am so grateful to be born into this family because we are all empaths, but you've taught us how to have a backbone.
Yeah.
We did not pussyfoot around issues in our house. Things blew up sometimes, things were expressed, but nothing went unsaid. So thank you for that.
You bet.
Okay, so now I want to get into a little more about how you found aspect work and what that is, because you set me up with this framework so along my journey I could unearth these gems that don't feel like gems at first, but are part of the complete picture. Will you tell us what aspect is and how you found that word?
Yeah, it was really amazing. I'd been a life coach for a few years.
And she is like the most loved life coach. She works here locally in Utah, and her clients who don't even know I'm your daughter have raved about you to me. So I just feel like
Yeah, I
that
love
needs
my
to be
clients.
said. And I have taken your coaching. I've been to some of your retreats, and they are life changing. So you have a secret sauce. Okay, continue.
It is a secret sauce, and it was amazing how it came to be. My first clients were very, very, I would say, difficult clients to begin with. They had experienced a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, a lot of family trauma, and I was meeting with one of them, and I was in her home, and all of a sudden she turned into a 5-year-old little girl. While she was talking to me, she had the mannerisms, she was very fidgety, her voice changed, and she started asking me questions. She goes, "Why did my grandfather hurt me?" And I'm like, "I don't know, sweetie, what happened?" And from this 5-year-old perspective, she was able to tell me what had happened to her. And her whole demeanor was confusion. Like, why is somebody hurting me when they say they love me? And so to be able to talk to that cute little 5-year-old self, not this adult woman who's very capable and accomplished, but to talk directly to that 5-year-old little girl and just say, "I don't know, something inside of him must have been very broken to hurt you because you're very lovable, you're very cute, you're very bubbly," and just I named so many of her qualities. And she was just beaming and swinging her legs and full-grown woman, and here she is like a little kid, and she was even like kind of dancing around. She says, "Really? I'm lovable?" And from that moment on my drive home, I had this whole program that was just downloaded to me on how to speak to that aspect. And what's so key about it is a lot of inner child work you talk to this inner child, but then you leave them there. This work, you bring that inner child home because they hold all of this trauma until you're ready to look at it as the adult self. And you have the tools or the skills to be able to see it without it crushing you. And so you're able to be compassionate to yourself at those different ages, those critical points where maybe the adults in your life, maybe your parents didn't say or do the thing you needed them to do in that moment, but you have the opportunity to be that angel in your own life, talk to that aspect and say, "Of course you're lovable, of course you're capable. They were wrong and they made mistakes and you're perfect and please come home."
Wow.
So,
Well, and this work is so profound because this value that we have of love and like divine love.
Mm-hmm.
It's represented in that work by how you don't focus on the other person. It's not about hating that other person or putting that person down. It's about seeing the bigger picture of how they are teachers, awful ones,
Mm-hmm.
that show you where you get to transform and evolve as a soul. And so it's not divisive. It's not this victim mentality.
No.
It's quite the opposite, actually. It's take your power back and take all of it back. Would you say that's accurate?
Completely accurate. 100% accurate.
Because everyone's hurting, and hurt people do hurt people.
Absolutely.
And I have taken things from my abusers and propagated them. And luckily, with meditation, I was able to have the awareness, and because we have the emotion that drives the cognition, and the cognition kind of steers what we focus on. And thankfully, I have both of those parts, but it doesn't stop me from making a bunch of mistakes. But this framework, this whole work that's profound, it's helped me when I do see something to say, where could that have possibly come from? And to sit with myself and do a self ritual where I just light a candle and be and ask, where is this coming from? And I've told you this, but I found this, not even that long ago version of myself just screaming in anger and rage at the legal stuff with my marriage, the single mom life, just so many years of poverty and just working so hard, just raging. And I told you this, and it was so beautiful to be able to find that, because that was causing me to react stronger to things. It was draining me. I was so drained having that energy being taken by anger and that trapped emotion, that trapped aspect. So without your work, I wouldn't have known that I could go in there and meet her.
Yeah.
And talk with her. Give her pacifier and a hug, and
Exactly.
go break some bottles at the recycling bin.
Yes, because that energy does stay trapped. And whenever you feel that same or like energy from that point, it hijacks you. So you're no longer connected to your higher self, your purpose. You're right back in that emotion and right back into that experience. And so when you find those aspects and you're able to have the conversation with them and they can actually tell you what they need, you don't have to guess, and you give it to them and they trust you, how magical is that? Where you can be your own advocate and you can give yourself the love that you didn't get in that moment. You can get the support you didn't get in that moment. And you just feel this relaxation, they finally let go. And whether it's tears or joy or just energy, and you feel that energy return to you, and you actually invite that aspect to come home, and they reintegrate. And when they reintegrate, they bring back the gift that they took. So whether that's energy, whether that's, some people have the ability to see or feel, or they can write again, or whatever that piece of their soul that they held, because they want to be found. They want you to heal. They want you to feel whole. So they bring back that little piece of light that they took, that holds a gift, holds a talent, holds a skill, and they come home and they stay there. It's resolved. It's not something you have to go back and process through over and over again. It's resolution. That's what's so profound about aspect work.
It is blowing my mind, because this is removing the dependency on self-development, the addiction to self-development, because it's so effective.
Yeah. Puts me out of business. Right? And
That-
these beautiful clients, and they have to become friends because I love them. They love me. And they're like, okay, we know how to do this. Now what?
I cannot believe you said put me out of business, because I have used that as a critique when I'm going through and assessing businesses that are aiming to help people. If they don't have some sort of mission to come to completion with this,
Yeah.
that everyone is healed. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you're missing the mark just a bit.
That's the
We're
whole
part of the
point.
whole. Yeah.
And it's like that 100th monkey. When so many people start to understand how this really works, then it becomes part of the collective and they start to do it naturally. And instead of leaving that aspect out there to fend for themselves, they bring them home. And this integration is happening and you see it. So
This is so beautiful. I wonder how someone would build that structure to be able to hold what these aspects tell them, or to be able to sit with that emotion. For me, it was meditation, the Dharana method, that got me in the foundational mindset of equanimity and awareness and higher perceptions. But I feel like my my gnarliest aspects, and there were some very gnarly ones. One of them I just found recently, and I have finally felt wholeness, not just intellectually, but energetically. But I feel like that shamanic warrior path I was on right when my world fell apart with getting fired from the news, losing my house, my marriage, just being left to fend, go on out into the desert in your RV and learn from the earth and go to survival school and learn to be a firearms instructor so you remember safety in yourself and just all of that structure, and becoming multidimensional as my meditations went more into the third eye territory, when that opened up, when my pineal gland decalcified. Just I feel like I built a solid structure to be able to see them, but is it necessary to do that much prep to meet them? Or do you just need to have the
journey.
That was my journey.
Because I think a lot of your life path, just because you're my daughter and I know this, is I want to know it works for real.
Oh, that's so true. That is so hard.
And so maybe a different framework could have worked, but you had to take it to every extreme to know that it would work for you so that you could really claim the prize at the end, the healing, the integration, and all of the gifts that you have. And so for me, with clients, I set up a framework of, it's really, really simple. It's like, this is all based in your belief system. And
so you tailor it towards your clients and look at their beliefs.
So what we do is have this context of you're whole and perfect.
Mm.
And that's so hard for people because they feel so fragmented and broken and they have to play so many roles that they don't know where to find that center. And so we do some work on finding your center, finding your authentic self, having an experience, not just a thought about the authentic self, but an experience of it, of what it feels like to actually embody your authentic self. And once they have that anchored in, then they have the capacity to see these events as part of their journey, as lessons, as things to grow from versus this destroyed me and it's their fault. And, you can go into that blame game, but with aspect work, there's nobody to blame. It's, okay, what can I learn from this? What did I learn? Who am I? And it all goes back to your 5 in your belief system, these 5 bottom line, below the line beliefs that are just, I'm not lovable, I don't matter, those beliefs that we all carry. And we learn that by the time we're 5.
Wow.
And so getting to those core beliefs and replacing them with I do matter, with proof, because our system needs proof. So your proof was to go on this massive journey of self-discovery and all these different facets of that through shamanic work, through hard mule train driving work.
Don't ask.
Just this Wild
West, huh?
Yeah.
It was fun too.
From meditation to that, to everything in between.
You're
that
right.
you did.
Extremes.
Yeah.
You had to do the whole thing.
You had to know, and you did. And now you do.
And in Tantra, I'm learning that, I did take the left-hand path, way into an extreme. and also the right hand path. It's been coming up and so beautifully in the light. But I've noticed that what you stand for, which is your pain is a gift, and everything that you've been through is something that will be with you as that gift, and also that helps you relate to others. I've talked to clients and friends who are having such a hard time, and they say something that they've done, and it literally doesn't faze me, because
Yeah.
what you've helped foster in your kids and clearly in yourself is wholeness. Like, your darkness doesn't scare me. Whatever you did, it doesn't faze me, because the perspective that I have is, it's not even the yin yang, but it's the observer of the yin yang. It's the holding the yin yang in love and harmony. That's the generational wealth. Like, thank you. I remember I took someone to her that I couldn't get through to him, and I just felt like he really deserved to see a good mother surrounded by her kids who love her and hear her wisdom. So I told my family, I'm like, look, I'm taking this guy to our family party. Just don't ask.
Yeah.
So I took him, and he just wasn't really listening. It was a little tough to watch him try to just relax into your presence, honestly, and into the love and into but I watched you, and you gave him just little sutras, and the next day you gave me this book, and you signed something to him, and you're like, this is for him. And I was like, what? And it's the little soul
in the sun.
little soul in the sun, because the message of that is what you teach, what you embody, which is everyone here is teaching us love. Is that it?
Everyone's a gift.
Everyone's a gift.
And like you, I've sat with people who have had horrendous torture, or who have lost children, or who have been through things that would crush people. And to be able to hold space for them to say, no, you're okay. You will get through this. And you'll get through this better than when you started. And they're like, no way. And they do. They heal.
Wow, that's so powerful.
And it's nothing that I'm doing other than holding space. They're doing the work. They're looking at their beliefs. They're looking at how this horrendous event, changed their life. And now they are teaching other people. And now they're teaching their children. And the awareness has expanded. And so they're able to do the difficult thing and hold space for their own worlds, for their own families, and make choices that are better for themselves. Could they have learned that lesson another way? Absolutely. But that was the lesson that they got. And that's what happens to all of us. We get these things that happen to us or happen for us. And we have choice. We can choose what we do with it. We can let it destroy us, or we can let it build us up. So.
Wow. I am thinking of how people who are oppressed, or groups that really do not have it fair, that this can be really helpful for them. Because I know, as a woman, I was never really in the whole feminist thing, how it is on this planet, because I have always felt so capable. You guys, Mom and Dad, had us racing motorcycles as toddlers and taking us to every national park you could imagine. And Mom, your Girl Scout leadership was epic. This woman went above and beyond, taught us how to make these little pocket fire starters with the wax so it doesn't get wet. Just everything. My first survival teacher. But I never really felt a victim in the being a woman until I was a single mom. And that plagued me for a long time, and seeing women who are in abusive relationships, who are just scraping by through not really any fault of their own. This really pains me. And I'd like to know, like, is the whole oppression vibe, I guess, or experience, is that a thing that is real, or is that something that we deal with internally?
Both. Because we have a society that's built from the masculine to support the masculine, and to even go into the debate on single moms raising babies, they get pregnant, and our climate now is they can't do anything about it. So they have to have the baby. There's a whole big piece missing on the other side. There are no laws that compel the father to take care of the child that he has created with this woman. It's all left to the woman to figure out life, to figure out how to pay rent, to figure out how to have daycare so she can work or to go to school. And all of that extra burden is on the feminine.
You're right. I can attest to that.
Yes.
You can too.
Yeah, and you go to get assistance, and they treat you like a criminal, like you're trying to get something for free, and when all you're doing is surviving. And I think that's why women are so strong, and why even when they crossed the plains, women survived more than the men did, because they are able to bear those burdens. But we're bearing it for a purpose. You're a single mom for a purpose. What is that? And that's what you have to answer. It's like, what am I learning? What am I bringing to the planet because of this experience? I choose to do this in ease, or I choose to do this peacefully. I choose to do this without hurting my children by making them be alone, or whatever it is that you connect to. That's important, because that's what you will teach your son. And bottom line is its resiliency.
That is something that is very, I wouldn't say rare, because we all went through the pandemic and we sank or swam. I mean, we lost a lot of people. We are continuing to lose people because of suicide and the unaddressed PTSD and economic disaster that caused for a lot of families. Everyone seems to be dealing with it at their own in their own way, but I feel like nothing's the same. Nothing's the same, and a lot of people are realizing that I can do something about this. I can do something about how I feel. Maybe the pandemic shook people's paradigms enough. I know it did for me. For you, did that happen?
Oh, yeah. We lost our business. We had to move. So,
where it's like, okay, there are many possibilities. Which one am I going to choose? And some people chose out. Some people chose to try to recreate the box that they were in pre-pandemic. And other people, like us, we've tried out these new paths. There's a lot of people who are realizing that we can choose. And so that's a cool word that you use. I choose joy and ease. I choose to find the lesson in this.
Yeah, those are the things we have choice over. There are things that we don't have choice over. Things that are here's our paradigm. How are we going to live within that paradigm in the way that we want to live, not the way that we're being told to live? So this is where we find our voice. This is where we find other people who maybe have the same voice and have a different audience, because it's about influence right now. And yes, we had this thing, the great shakeup, and it created breakups, and it created moving paradigms around. I mean, they closed the beaches, the most healing thing on the planet. And they closed them off in case we could stand next to each other. The biggest generator of negative ions. Let's just close that. So you have these things that made no sense, and we all had to follow along until we didn't.
Yeah.
And we woke up. And it's very controversial, and I think we need to have controversial conversations. We need to flesh out what our belief systems are. I had a client share with me that her move, which I felt bad about supporting, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I support her in that? It was such a disaster. And her son both came to me and said, this changed our lives. This brought us closer. So we can't control what the outcomes are. We can only make our choices and make our choices and make our choices.
That reminds me of manifestation techniques, where there are a lot of them out there, and I've tested a lot of them. It seems like one of them that works is to set the intention, to let it go. Like, I don't think people should even start to try manifesting until they build contentment and non-attachment and meditation. Dharana method.
Yes, the Dharana method. So many people have used that as a foundation for their incredibly successful businesses and lives.
I should do that again. That was a really cool meditation certification program that you became a teacher too. And we've just kept, I love this. We're so fortunate. But to let it go completely and play while you wait. But know that it's something you get to receive. And I feel like that receiving part has been the difficult part of manifesting for me, because that is femininity. And I've just spent the past 5 years like showing myself what I'm made of, rising to every occasion, learning, leading people, bringing nations together, this person, this one. It's wild what we're capable of. However, the feminine is like the soul of things. It's the fluidity, it's the beingness, and the receiving has been something that I'm practicing. Have you found anything that helps balance femininity that works for you?
The receiving is the hardest part, because we have to play so many roles that are provider and all of these traditional roles that are masculine. And so when we find that balance within ourselves, and we can actually let the sunshine in instead of just going for the hike to accomplish the hike, because that's very masculine. Get there, do it.
Speaking truth there.
And you're breathing, and you're letting the sun in, you're letting that light in, and it changes your cells, changes your mitochondria. And it's like, okay, I can receive this. And it's a simple thing. The sun is still shining. That's a choice. And you talk about manifestation. For me, it's like, those little bank tubes.
Oh,
you stick it in there, and you let it go. It gets sent right to the universe. And it'll always come back. You don't have to worry about it. It'll come back.
And it might even have an extra sucker.
Right. Or cash, or whatever it is that you want.
That's good.
My experience
Universe
was that.
Place my order.
I wanted to be a CFO because I worked for a woman, and I didn't like how she was the CFO. I'm like, I could do this better, so I want a CFO job. Just let it go. And then within probably 6 weeks, I got a call. We need a CFO for this company. Do you want to come and do it? Because she did such a good job with bookkeeping. Sure. Yes. I have no idea what I'm doing, but yes.
Wow.
And it was just fun. I loved it. I got paid more than I've ever been paid. And while it lasted, it was fantastic. And
wow.
So that was the first real, just let it go, like you were talking about, and play. Didn't think about it again. It was just that thought. And
okay, that brings me to, you said play, because this woman is so fun. I don't even want to talk about half the stories.
No,
but
please don't.
She will put together epic scavenger hunts and family experiences, and you are the culture that I now stand for, that I am now broadcasting with Sparkle Power and all the events that I do. Just people will come and realize that they're not working that much. Like, I've set the intention, the energetic field. I'm really good at that because I learned from a expert facilitator of energy. And then we stay in the vibe, that joyful connection and present moment living. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And that is what's possible in our civilization.
Yes.
Especially when women, because women, we are so present. And what is it about us that can bring life into the room or bring beauty? Is it beauty?
It's beauty,
Magnetism.
it's peace, magnetism. It's creation. We hold the seed of creation.
Just think about that for a moment. Don't think about it. Feel that.
Let that
Women are the seed of creation.
the seed of it. This we hold
The seat
the
of
seed
it.
where it's
Okay. Like our womb?
our womb, whether we have our wombs or not.
Mm-hmm.
That is the portal of creation.
Mm.
All of humanity is birthed from a womb, from that energy. And having had a child, you know that feeling of that life growing inside of us.
Mm.
And if we could teach people to tune into that point of creation, because men have it too, and if we could create from that space, anything is possible.
Is that the same as tapping into your sexual energy? I feel like I am just barely getting to the point now that I've met the aspects with rape
Trauma,
and
yeah.
abuse and just we've all been through it. Okay,
Yeah.
but mine was a lot.
Unfortunately, that is a huge truth, is women have been through this.
Literally, like, and I know a lot of men too, and I've met
Yes.
more of them recently who are feeling okay to talk about it. So that is definitely a problem that we all get to look at of
Yes.
we are healing sexual trauma.
Yes.
And we are healing it so that we look at that in ourselves and we don't pass it on in weird little ways. Like I've dated people who were really good people who had odd sexual misconduct things, or like an entitlement to my body that I was like, oh, there's probably some unresolved sexual trauma there. And the society is harmonizing how our values around sexuality and how we teach it to kids. Like it's very easy to teach kids that they are energy systems through art. Draw your chakras.
Yeah.
You have a sacral chakra. You can circulate that energy. You can balance that with emotion. Like just a level of awareness so that we're not all just behind closed doors repeating all these distorted sexual paradigms and
Exactly.
abusive. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, sexual healing is huge because it does change how you see the world once you own your own sexuality.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Because I think women are taught to just go along with most of the time, and most of our first sexual experiences are not what we would have chosen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
They're not loving, they're not kind, it's traumatic. And then it repeats because we don't know anything different and we don't know how to talk about it.
And we think we deserve it.
Yes, and that's a whole other thing with your belief system and many women's belief system. Until we start to own that amazing, powerful energy, it is creation, it is pleasure. And women, when they tap into their real, raw pleasure, and that's where they really learn to receive. Because we're taught to be, especially in our culture here in Utah, it used to be everything behind closed doors and put on this mask of everything's fine.
Yes.
And don't talk about it. Just keep going.
And
Do
what
more.
we know about when we suppress things, it actually grows and gets more and more
Concentrates.
distorted and more powerful.
Yeah, until it gets our attention. And it always comes out at the worst possible time. Every time. So once we start to tune into our own pleasure and we learn how our bodies work, we learn what feels good, and then we translate that into how we are in the world, where we want to feel good. We don't want to push past our own limits. We learn to rest. We learn to feed ourselves. We learn to get massages, and we learn to take care of our energy. Once we start to harness that and that sexual alchemy happens, we start to attract, either the men who want it
Mm-hmm.
or whatever relationship, and we start to learn to ask for what we want and to create what we want versus just settling for what's happening.
Mm.
And we can stop and say, no, this doesn't work. This works better. And we've all heard this. Ask for what you want, but really ask for what you want.
Mm.
Don't play nice. I love Teal Swan. She goes, don't be nice. Nice is convoluted and really messing up her quote. But she said, if you're nice, you're not authentic.
Mm.
You're wearing a mask. You're trying to be approved of. And when we tune into our authenticity, we can be kind and compassionate, and we let go of the mask of having to be nice to everybody, and we can actually speak truth. And that's when we start to really own our power. Because I can be kind, I can be loving, and sometimes that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, I come across as very, what would Rachel say? Harsh.
My sister.
Like, okay.
I wouldn't describe you ever as harsh. I would say you're authentic.
Yeah.
And I feel like you process a lot of other people's energy as a gift to us. Would you say that's accurate?
I would. And the more that we speak our truth and we can frame it however we want to frame it, like, hey, I'm worried about you. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, no, really, what's going on?
Yeah.
I really want to know. When we can do that with our friends and our family, that's when we can really connect because we don't have to put on these roles.
I am teaching my son this right now, which is he is so tough, so strong, but I know he's so sensitive and he will feel things and I can sense it because I am so sensitive too. And I'll be like, you good? He taught me that. He would just say, you good? But now I say it to him and we know when we're telling the truth. He likes to do the, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I've been saying, well, what emotion is it if you could name it? And he doesn't like that, but I keep pushing because I want him to be able to name the emotion or to give some sort of explanation, even if it's like an emoji.
Right. No question.
You're right. Type in the emoji that you're feeling.
Show me the picture.
Because I want him to actually process instead of just doing what I did for so long with so much, that it's just like, and then you end up being so agitated all the time instead of having the awareness, shining the light of awareness on it and letting it be seen and letting it release. Oh, wow. You're not holding on. You're not absorbing that.
Because you don't have to fix it.
You don't have to fix it. And there are some relationships where you may have thought you had to fix it because you'd have consequences if you didn't. But we're unlearning that. And I love what you're saying about ask for what you want and don't be nice. I've noticed that the aspect work has allowed me to stand in power to both be vulnerable and to really speak like what hurts me and what I'm experiencing. And also in like, I'd prefer this or that doesn't work for me. And that's new to me because we grew up Mormon and just the culture for women, the expectations on women to serve and to make a rough environment smoother, like say at work or like I've noticed that like it's on us to keep a relationship going or to, tie up this thing that someone wasn't clear about. It's just like, what? No, we're all going to do this equally. And it has helped that I've been able to speak up. I've seen a lot of things harmonize where it did feel like I was being piled on a lot or leached off of. So feels like that helps with the energetic hygiene as well.
That's a really good point, that energetic hygiene and being intentional with that. Because as an empath, you're a sponge. You feel everything. So to be aware of that and be able to articulate it and to be able to discern what you need and what you want, that's the most important thing.
That's the empath with a backbone.
It is.
That's her whole thing.
I love it. There you go. Our new thing.
Or with a voice, you know.
Yeah, to have a voice, to be able to take action, to be able to be flexible with what you want, that puts you in a huge power position.
Mm.
And women are afraid of their power.
Mm.
And if anybody doubts their power, watch a woman walk in the room and everybody can feel what her mood is.
Mm.
And if there are other women in the room, they're going to feel it and they'll either try to fix it or compensate for it, or actually they'll connect with the woman and say, what's going on? Are you okay? What can I help with? And it's a beautiful thing because we can feel. And that's why we do take on all that other stuff. So to have that boundary and to create healthy boundaries for ourselves is also crucial in that energetic hygiene.
And what a superpower that is, to be able to sense. And I meditated for 3 years and did very disciplined Ayurvedic practice, regular yoga, before my pineal gland decalcified and the trauma happened of 2020 to really open up those perceptions. But it was a whole new world of being able to see and learn from other realms. And this is becoming more and more common. But I feel like something that connects us across cultures even is that multidimensionality. I've been able to connect with people in India about the gods or goddesses that they admire and pray to and even see in their meditations. And my friends who are of Native heritage, how they can receive messages from the animals that come across their way, because each animal is giving them a medicine and they are perceiving that, and they're perceiving the message from the ancestors and the wind. I feel like we are coming to an era where we can connect on these higher levels. Do you feel that?
I do. I really do. And where that ancient wisdom is coming into play, where we're remembering that we are connected. And that
So we're remembering.
Yeah, because this is how we lived before. We lived close to the land. We watched for weather and signs, and we felt people because we couldn't communicate across large distances. So we could feel when somebody was going through something. And I know that you can feel your son even when you're not with him. And you know exactly what he's going through. And we
Can you do that with all 5 of us?
Yes.
Oh, you are a warrior.
But it's what we do. And the more we nurture it, the better it becomes, the sharper it becomes, the more accurate it becomes.
Well, I feel like with the tie that because you haven't taught with words all the time, but you taught with doing, and our moon rituals and intentions, which for us kids were just so fun. And especially as young adults and now as older adults with kids, they have been foundational rituals for just keeping life together and having a reason to celebrate. And so I really want to honor the women who have carried the knowledge of magic down from generation to generation, just like how your eggs are given to you, passed down from your grandmother. Is that right?
Yeah, so our eggs, what we were created from, was inside of our grandmothers, into our mothers, and then we passed that on.
Thank you, grandmothers.
Yes.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you for your beautiful commitment to living so bravely, because you were opening these doors of spirituality that we weren't always privy to, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And my friend, her mom, and you, like this was 20 plus years ago, were doing your thing. I don't know.
Oh,
going going to drum circle. It was more than that, but
right. And that's how I grew up. My mom was into archaeology. My dad was into mining.
I'm wearing Grandma Marilyn's ring.
Oh, yeah. That's perfect. And so I would go to powwows. I played in the museums and learned just by being there these different rhythms. And I think we were fortunate to travel so we could see different cultures. And we were able to be immersed in things versus just reading about it.
And our heritage, like on your side, we have Mae Smith, our Native American ancestor, and we're still looking for what tribe she's from. We have on Dad's side, Black Louisiana Creole, like really cool heritage there because I felt so at home in Africa. And
Yes.
Africa, I love you. And
Yeah.
Black Americans, you are my hero.
No kidding.
And Native Americans. And we're going to fix all this. We are in this together.
We are.
But the heritage, I feel, connecting with these little dots of who we are, who our ancestors were to actually make it possible and to survive all these wild things so that we can exist. Like, we are all miracles.
We are.
And then we have our spiritual heritage too, which we learn kind of when we become multidimensional, and we can learn and collect those past lives. And that is really cool because then you come into a space behind time, outside of time, where death is just a graduation. Like, you are always here.
Yeah.
We are always here.
It's true. It's true.
And cut. No. but Mom,
No.
I know we have some fun things coming up together. I just want to recap that your aspect work, it doesn't matter who you are, your background, what you've been through, whether it's a bad day at the office or ritualistic sexual abuse, like
Yes.
satanic abuse.
Yes.
She's seen it all. So your framework, I can attest, is a path to wholeness, and it is highly effective. I also think that you are a wizard with relationships, how you help people come to wholeness and engage in their relationship in a compassionate way, but with truth. Like,
Yes.
we're going to both be in this. And if one's not, then
Doesn't
we're
work.
going to use our boundaries and goodbye. You also teach amazing sexual healing and empowerment. And I'm really excited to learn more from you about that. I've been studying Tantra on the side, and I know our connection with horses, how horses embody powerful feminine energy.
Thank you.
And they teach us a lot about our femininity, how we can receive and amplify. And just shout out to horses.
Yes.
We love you. We're recording in a studio next to a field of horses. Don't
Yes.
worry.
Yeah.
They're amplifying, they're co-regulating your heart. Their heart is 8 times the field of ours, their electromagnetic field. So hug a horse, thank a horse,
Thank
and a
the
cat,
horse. Yes.
and a woman. And while you're at it, thank yourself, man or woman. I am so grateful for you on this planet. I'm really happy you chose to stick around because it's only going to get better. Don't you feel that?
Oh, absolutely. And we're all waking up and working together instead of working against each other. It's like, it's a you and me world. And we're on this ball of energy in the space. And our spacesuit is this beautiful body, so we might as well enjoy.
You know what? This is proof that we're all connected. Like, we are all one thing. Like, this alive field,
Yes.
we're waves in it. We're different collections of frequencies, but we're all part of the same thing. And this is how I know that. The other day, I was walking back to my car downtown after giving a tour out at Antelope Island. And I had a backpack full of water bottles and granola bars. And this gentleman was sitting on the sidewalk. It was like 11 p.m. Just so confused. And just sitting there, just looked really out of sorts. So I just, grabbed a water and a protein bar. I'm like, do you want this? And he was like, yes. And he like grabs, he's like, do you have any cigarettes? And I was like, if you asked me a few years ago, probably. I'm like, do you want a Zen pouch? And he's like, what's that? So I'm teaching him how to use a Zen pouch. He can barely function, but I went to give it to him and I touched his hand and it was the warmest, most rough, just beautiful, beautiful hand. And I held on to that hand. And we are all connected. That man is part of me. And it was the universe, God, the one teaching me that in that moment, that it doesn't take a lot. If we all just be what we are, which are beings of love and connection. And I will get off my soapbox, but
that's a good soapbox, though. To be able to touch somebody and feel that connection, that's what we're missing.
We have dehumanized ourselves, and it's not our fault. The media, I mean, they're showing us nothing but dehumanization with the ice raids, with the wars, the starvation.
Oh.
It is 2025 as we're recording this. What are we doing? Yes. It's all an effort to dehumanize us. And if we can resist that by actually reaching out, and you don't have to take from yourself to do that. That's what I'm learning. I used to overgive, but now I let it flow.
Wow.
And thank you for passing down that value. That is true generational wealth. Love, connection, truth. We're all in it together. Yeah. We are as strong as our weakest part. So come on, let's all help this one so that we can all move on.
How simple is that?
The trees have been teaching it for a long time. They're like, it's really easy once you just connect.
Yeah.
Send a little nutrient to this dying one.
Oh my gosh. I started on trees. Trees and mycelium. Oh my goodness.
I know. Feel the mycelium network popping in here. They're everywhere.
Yeah. The foundation of life.
And
it's connection and communication.
You're right.
They don't see themselves as separate beings. They are the network. And that's what we are. Just like you did. You were compassionate. I wonder when the last time that gentleman was touched.
Oh, that got me.
How often do we crave a hug, a genuine connection, and instead we turn to our phone? Instead, reach out. Say, I need a hug. Let me hug you. Let me touch you. Tell Delilah all the time, I love you. She goes, I know, Grandma. It's like, well, I just want to say it.
One that study shows that you can't over coddle your children by loving them too much. They actually, the children that they studied over time, the ones who were over loved by their standards were more self-actualized and successful in their lives.
Absolutely.
So,
more resilient. I love you guys.
I remember how she was always like, and you still are, I love you. You're perfect just the way you are. You can do anything. Touch it. I remember you giving Dad little massages all the time in the car. Miss you, Dad.
Love you, Dad.
Love you,
Dad. Mr. Bruce, friend to everybody.
We have to save him for another time. He's a whole thing.
And
that
for sure.
We're through the period of Bruce leaving this planet, and we now sit with his beautiful, joyful spirit. And
yeah, his body was too limited.
Yep, he's free bird now. Oh, well, thank you so much for hanging out with me and my mom. And Mom,
yes,
I learned so much about you, and I'm so excited to see how this world looks in a few years after we're done with it.
No kidding. It's such an honor, Amanda.
Where can people find you?
I would connect with Simple Green Me through you,
Okay.
and I'll have a free download on aspect work on just a simple guide of how to do the conversation.
Thank
'Cause
you.
it's so easy.
Well, I want to pass that on to my son. So thank you for creating that. And thank you for your work. Thanks for being my mom.
Such an honor.
We'll see you next time. You are perfect just the way you are. Reach out and touch somebody with permission.
With permission.